This is what the largest plane on Earth looks like now. What was once the most outstanding achievement of engineers now is a pile of electronics and debris lying under the destroyed hangar. AN-225 was the only plane of its kind, the largest plane that could deliver tons of weight without trouble. But the history behind this plane is more fascinating than you think. In the 80s, the two rival superpowers, the Soviet Union and the USA, are competing for space domination. Only one can be the winner. And Americans had a card up their sleeve to take the lead in this race. The first space shuttle, STS-1 Columbia, that they launched in 1981, ultimately getting ahead of their enemy. But the Soviet Union wasn't going to give up. They immediately began planning and manufacturing the parts of the first Soviet space shuttle. All of the Union was working on this ambitious goal that should be achieved in Baikonur, Kazakhstan, a place where all Soviet rockets launched into space. Energia Buran is the name of the shuttle. But there was a problem. They couldn't deliver all the components because they were too big for train wagons to carry. At first, they converted 1950s-era bombers for the job, but soon realized they'd need a much bigger plane for this task. Their first plane was AN-124 Ruslan, a working horse of Soviet aviation, which could carry tons of cargo. However, even this plane wasn't gonna cut it. They needed the same plane, but better. Many decisions were passed, like increasing the wingspan, lengthening the fuselage, adding 2 more engines for more power, redesigning the tail, and finally installing 32 wheels for landing gear. As a result, they got what's known today as AN-225. AN-225 was the first plane of its kind. 6 turbofan engines could put out 300,000 pounds of thrust and carry over 250 tons of cargo. It solved the Union's issue and transported Energia Buran components from one place to another with no problem. But engineers had other plans for it too. They wanted the plane to be able to launch spacecraft directly into space from mid-air. Yes, the AN-225 was so powerful it could lift the whole space shuttle on its back. The launch of the Buran happened in November of 1988, and it shook the whole world. The West had no idea that the Soviets were developing a space shuttle from scratch and successfully launching it, proving they still had the game. Next year, the Western audience could have a look at the plane at the Paris Air Show. The crowd was positively shocked. But it didn't last long. By the end of the 80s, the Soviet government was practically bankrupt and couldn't afford more Buran missions. Both the aircraft and space shuttle remained in storage until the collapse of the Soviet Union. An AN-225 remained in Kiev, Ukraine, where it was made. While many people believed it was going to the scrapyard, the Ukrainian government invested $20 million into repairing the plane to deliver heavy cargo. In 2001, it flew again. Over 2 decades, it has received hundreds of awards for carrying various cargo and has set itself as a magnificent engineering marvel. But sadly, this didn't last long either. During the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the plane was destroyed. Now, only remains can be seen at the airport near Kiev. Maybe we will see a second version of the plane gracing our skies again, like it used to.